These words were penned by King Solomon of Israel, renowned for his God-given wisdom. Although inspired 3,000 years ago, Solomon's words to us remain potent and timeless. They also perfectly picture the peril and opportunity presented to Americans as we select the next President of the United States. When it comes to immigration and our southern border, you're right, Solomon, there is nothing new under the sun. So, if history is to guide our future, let's see how Donald Trump handled the issue during his first term. Before Donald Trump became president in 2017, he recognized a problem which needed to be addressed and fixed. The Immigration Reform Control Act of 1986, which granted amnesty and a path to citizenship for 2.7 million illegal aliens, encouraged millions more to cross the border, following in their footsteps. In fact, a string of amnesty rulings followed, extending forgiveness to roughly 3 million more between 1986 and 2000. Another firestorm of controversy erupted over a 2014 policy established by President Obama, which became known as DACA, short for Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals. Obama's order allowed 3.6 million children who had accompanied their parents on their way north to remain in the USA. Although ruled likely illegal by a Fifth Circuit federal court, the Obama administration turned a blind eye to the outcome and continued extending living and work permits to those covered by DACA, known as Dreamers. But Donald Trump and his supporters worked throughout his term in office to restore another dream, the American dream. He knew our security, rule of law, and customs were all under attack, and that something had to be done about it. So Trump promised his supporters he would build a wall.
We're going to build the wall. We have no choice. We have no choice. Build that wall. 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 So, we're going to build it. Who's going to pay for the wall? 100%. By the way, 100%.
And build it he did. As Trump's big, beautiful wall went up, illegal immigrant crossings went down during the Trump years, reaching a historic low in April 2020.
Less than 4 years ago, I handed this administration the strongest border in American history. But you can see on the chart that saved my life, that was the chart that saved my life. I said, look it, I'm so proud of it. I think it's one of the greatest. It was done by the Border Patrol, one of the greatest charts I've ever seen. It showed everything just like that. You know the chart. Oh, there it is. That's pretty good. Wow. Last time I put up that chart, I never really got to look at it.
This was the chart which Trump claimed saved his life. The chart shown to the crowd at Trump's July 2024 rally in Butler County, Pennsylvania, the moment a would-be assassin fired his rifle and missed. A closer look at its data reveals what happened as soon as the Biden-Harris team took over, and the numbers are not pretty.
I think the only thing that people in the United States and politicians can agree about on immigration is that the system is broken.
I think it's gotten more broken, if that's possible, in the 30 years that I've been working on the issue.
2023 saw record-breaking numbers of migrant crossings at the southwestern border, with Border Patrol reporting nearly 250,000 encounters in December alone.
They're poisoning the blood of our country. That's what they've done.
I will not demonize immigrants saying they are poisoning the blood of our country.
The migration that we're seeing happening at the border right now is unsustainable. We are not managing it, and it is overwhelming our existing immigration systems.
There's broad consensus that it needs to be fixed. I just can't agree on what that way might be and how to think about that question.
So why is the immigration system in the U.S. so broken? And can it ever be fixed?
The shock to America's support system from the arrival of millions of illegal interlopers is but one small part of the tragic story. Among those invading our country were known terrorists and felons released from foreign prisons, gang members, murderers, rapists, child traffickers, and dealers in death.
And on February 27th, 2022, our lives were shattered and our baby was gone. This was not an overdose, it was a poisoning. His whole future, everything we ever wanted for him was ripped away in an instant. And Joe Biden does nothing. I hold Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, the border czar, what a joke, and Gavin Newsom and every Democrat who supports open borders responsible for the death of my son.
So what does candidate Kamala, Joe Biden's last person in the room, think about the wall? Apparently it depends on what day of the week it is.
We don't need a multi-billion-dollar wall. That wall ain't gonna stop them.
Let me be very clear. I'm not going to vote for a wall under any circumstances.
Harris said that she supports the bipartisan border bill, which includes requiring the Trump border wall.
But isn't Joe Biden's border czar allowed the occasional flip-flop?
This is a show of hands question, and hold them up for a moment so people can see. Raise your hand if your government plan would provide coverage for undocumented immigrants.
When called out on her MIA status at the border by Lester Holt of NBC News, this misleading response was pure Kamala Harris.
Okay. Do you have any plans to visit the border?
At some point, we are going to the border. We've been to the border. So this whole thing about the border, we've been to the border. We've been to the border.
You haven't been to the border.
And I haven't been to Europe. And I don't understand the point that you're making.
The choice before us could not be more clear. Over the past 8 years, we have seen the masterful Trump in action and Harris, the master of inaction. We've watched Trump build a wall to protect Americans.
Down with deportation! Up with education! Down with deportation! Up with education!
And Harris throw open the gates for political expediency. We have seen Donald Trump point America to a new vision of greatness and beheld Kamala Harris expose her own track record of incompetence, opportunism, and self-service. Comparing the two commanders-in-chief, Trump and Harris, is a rare gift. We can predict the outcome of our choice in advance, but this also leaves us with no excuse. How will you vote? And what will be the outcome of this election in 2024? Let's read it again together. That which has been is what will be. That which is done is what will be done. And there's nothing new under the sun.